Hey, it's Mark with Mark's House of Cars, and I show a lot of my car collection on here, driving, talking about the different challenges, but I've never gone over how I bought them and why I bought them the way I did. So I've used a mix of cash and financing when I bought my cars. I've been very fortunate, and real estate has been a big part of how I was able to buy my cars as well. So in this video, I want to talk about why I did what I did when buying my cars, what other people might think about when buying cars, and some of the challenges I had along the way with buying the cars I did, and of course, finding them, storing them, all of that. So hopefully you enjoy this video. If you have questions at all, please let me know. And this is how I bought each of my cars and why I bought them the way I did. So I've had a lot of cars over the years and have a lot of cars right now. Some of the first cars I ever bought were Supras when I was in high school. Kind of before they became cooler, I had some Mark III Supras, an 87 NA, a 90 Turbo Targa, a 90 NA, had a 91 Corvette I flipped into an irrigation ditch. Then I bought a 91 Mustang 5.0 convertible, put a supercharger on it myself. That was my daily driver in college and when I was a young adult after college for quite some time. The Porsche 928 was kind of the first extra car I bought, although I did own a 79 FJ Land Cruiser for a while in high school as well. I bought dirt cheap and sold it to make some money. But the 928 I bought for $6,000 in 2009. Crazy. The first, I had my Audi S4 was my daily driver for a while. That's a 2010. But the first exotic car I ever bought was my 1999 Lamborghini Diablo I bought in 2014. Now, that car I got a loan on. I had a 12-year loan from Woodside Credit. It was like 5% interest rate, and what was crazy was I didn't realize you could get those loans until like a year before. I went to Lamborghini of Dallas. I was at a conference, a real estate conference, and I took a small break and went to look at the Lamborghinis there, and they had a Diablo there, and I was looking at it. They let me sit in it. I'm like, man, this is cool. And they're like, yeah, why don't we look at some financing for you? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not really serious about buying this. And like, well, you know they have 12-year loans, right? And your payment's probably less than buying a new car that's a third this price. And I was like, what are you talking about? So that opened my eyes to the reality of owning exotic cars and kind of scared me quite a bit too, because I'm like, oh wow, I could actually kind of maybe afford this sooner than I thought I could. Now, whether that's smart or not to finance a car, we'll talk about here too. But there's a number of reasons and pros and cons for doing that. And a lot of my real estate background, I feel like, influences how I make those decisions as well. So, had the Diablo. In 2017, I bought a 1981 Aston Martin V8. The next year, I bought a 1998 Lotus Esprit V8 twin turbo. Ended up getting a 1994 Supra twin turbo, 6-speed Targa top. Then I ended up getting a new daily driver, a 2017 Velociraptor 500, which is not the V8 version. It's just kind of a modified EcoBoost. I still have that too. And then I ended up buying a 91 Supra Turbo 5-speed Targa, kind of like a nostalgic purchase from my past. And then in 2022, I ended up getting a 1988.5 Lamborghini Countach. And I recently bought a Defender 110 with an LS3 swap. We've talked about it. Has a bunch of issues. It's in the mechanic right now. So a whole lot of cars. And why did I buy them? Well, I love cars. I've loved cars since I was 5. I've always wanted these cars. I went to college, got a finance degree, ended up in real estate along the way. And all through my 20s, I never thought I'd have any of these. Maybe like, the Porsche 928, some of the lower priced cars I thought I might be able to buy. But I never thought I'd be able to get the Lamborghinis I loved. And I really changed my attitude about life and work and different things during that time. Got into some more self-help stuff and realized just having a positive attitude and believing was a huge part of it. And I realized, well, maybe I could have some of these. And started working harder, realized that it wasn't up to other people to make me successful. I had to do it. I could go on about this whole successful spiel, but the gist of it was I took control of my life, got myself really uncomfortable, did some things that were way out of my comfort zone and what I normally do, made more money, started making huge goals, and sooner than I would have ever thought I was able to buy this Diablo. I did do a 15% down, 12-year loan. I paid $126,000 for the car. Now, back in 2014, that was a lot more money than it is today. I feel like so many regular cars are over $100,000 now. It's crazy. But back then, this was a huge deal. The most I'd ever paid it for a car before that was $40,000 for my used S4. I'd never bought a new car before. I still have never bought a new car before, except for, unless you count my wife and her Wagoneer. But it was definitely a massive jump. I got it from Cat's Exotics in Seattle, bought it from a dealer. I got lots of videos. I had lots of pictures of it, got lots of references for him. But I never did actually go out and see the car either. So that was, quite the surprise too, when it was delivered to me May in 2014 on Father's Day. And the first time seeing the car in person was when it came off the truck. My first time driving a Diablo was that day. I had sat in one before, but I'd never driven in one. And it was just an absolutely amazing, awesome experience all around. Now, was it smart to buy that car with a loan? Well, there's no way I could have possibly bought it without getting a loan. I didn't have that much cash. I was successful in real estate. I owned rental properties, but I wasn't like rich beyond belief with cash just laying around. I also used a lot of my cash and money I did have to flip houses, to renovate my properties. It's a very expensive business. You need a lot of cash to be able to do those things. So even if I did have that cash at one point or another point, I knew I'd need it for my real estate business. And I didn't want to tie it up in a car. So when I was looking at financing cars and doing different things, it was kind of the option was don't buy it at all or use financing. It was a dream of mine. I also had my blog, Investfourmore, that I had started recently in 2013. I talked about my goals and dreams on there. And I decided to go for it and buy it. It's been an absolutely amazing purchase. I don't regret it 1 second. Now, the car was paid off eventually, but I've gotten loans on other cars too. But this car I got real lucky, right? It's worth like $400,000 now, 10 years later. So obviously that's helped it be a good investment, but I also am not realizing that investment unless I sell it. But it's been so much more than that. It's so much more than just the dollar value going up, because when you own a car like this, you do have maintenance and repairs and other costs. It's not like that's all pure profit. But it's been an amazing marketing tool for my business. People still who haven't seen my website or seen me around for years, like, oh, you're that blue Lamborghini guy. They just know that. It's been awesome for marketing. Especially my online business, it's made me a lot of money there. But not just that, this was a massive motivator for me as well. So when I was making those goals, and I've made goals for other cars, making goals for the Countach, it's like, if I want to buy these cars, I need to do a lot better than I'm doing now. And I visualize myself driving them and having them and how awesome it would be. And having these goals of these cars has made me more successful than I would have been otherwise. I 100% believe that if I didn't have these goals, if I didn't have these big goals, if I wasn't pushing myself to buy these cars, there's no way I'd be as successful as I am. So that's another huge factor for them, was just giving my own self-motivation and pushing myself towards them has made me more successful as well. So for me, getting a loan, buying this car, 100% worth it. I never predicted it would go up in value as much as it did, but I also thought it was undervalued at the time. I thought $126,000 was a really good deal. The Countach was shooting up at that time, from a $100,000 car to a $300,000 car, and I didn't expect the Diablo would go that crazy, but literally a year or two after I bought it, it pretty much doubled in value, which was made me feel better about my choice too. But even if it hadn't done that, it was still worth doing it. So the Diablo was definitely worth financing. Now, cars like the Porsche 928, when I bought it for $6,000, I paid cash. I didn't get a loan for that. When I bought my Audi S4, I got a loan for that. It was a certified used car, and I got a really low interest rate, and it was kind of a no-brainer to do that financing. In fact, when I bought my Audi S4, I think I got a 6-year loan. It was like a 2 or 3% interest rate. I never paid one extra penny towards that loan. I made every single payment, never paid an extra penny, and made my last payment right on schedule when it was supposed to be. And I think a lot of people have the idea, well, if you pay off extra, you save all this interest, you pay it off early. My thoughts are, yes, you can pay it off early, but if I take that money I'm using to pay it off early and invest it or put it into my real estate business, I'm going to make way more money in my business investing it than I am paying off loans. And I have that same theory on real estate as well. I don't pay off my loans early in real estate. I don't put extra money into my loans. All the extra cash I have, all the extra money I use to invest in new properties or sometimes cars. So I'm not paying off loans, especially low interest rate loans. Now that interest rates are a little higher now, we aren't getting those 2, 3, 4% rates. There might be some people who would rather pay off loans. Maybe they don't have a lot of things to invest in. They might have higher interest rates. I could see that. But for me, I'm still able to make a lot more money in real estate, and my returns are much higher than paying off the loans on the cars or my investment properties. So after buying this Diablo, I bought the Aston Martin. I got a loan on it as well. I paid $125,000 for that Aston Martin, 1981 V8 convertible. Very rare car. I bought it locally from a gentleman, another collector who I saw at Cars and Coffee. Did the same thing, I think, as Woodside Credit, and they end up selling the loans anyway to different banks, and put 15% down. Again, that car has probably almost doubled in value too. Very rare, hard to value that car, but it's been a fun, amazing car. Love that car too. The next car I bought, I think, was a Lotus Esprit. I bought it for $39,000 from a dealer in Texas, just like a regular dealer, like a Ford dealership. Found it on, was it just like Auto Trader, I think, or maybe eBay, I'm not sure, but got a pretty good deal on that. Azure blue, has the OZ racing wheel option, another dream car. I paid cash for that. It was a smaller amount. I figured that small amount loan wasn't worth getting, and I just paid cash for that one. The next car I think was the Supra. I could be slightly out of order here. I paid cash for it. I paid $57,000 for that one. Again, smaller loan amount, so I ended up paying cash for it, and that car is up probably over 100,000 now. It's got kind of high mileage, over 100,000 miles, but it's a Baltic Blue 6-speed twin turbo Targa top car that's almost all stock except for exhaust and aftermarket radiator, some wheels on it. So I've had different strategies based on the purchase price in the cars. The Velociraptor I paid cash for. I paid $62,000 for it, but I would have been okay getting a loan on it as well. I just didn't see, rates had started to go up a little hard to get some car loans, so I didn't get one on that one. The next purchase I had was the 91 Supra that I saw on Bring a Trailer, and really good shape, is blue. I love blue. And turbo Targa 5-speed. Paid $22,000 I think for it, which was the 91 and 92s are much rare. The 92s are super rare, so ended up paying cash for that. And then the next purchase I made was a Countach, and again, that was a dream car of mine. I always wanted one. They kept going up in value, and I saw someone on Instagram actually advertising that they might sell one of theirs. It was a Interstate Motor Cars in New Jersey, a dealer, and they have a lot of different Countaches. And so I messaged them, said I was interested. I don't think they knew I was serious, and I showed them my car collection, like, oh, okay. And so we negotiated back and forth, went back and forth, ended up negotiating a deal at $500,000 for the car. I was hoping to get it for less, but realized the Countaches were selling on Bring a Trailer and at auctions for $600,000 or more at that point. So I thought I was getting a pretty good deal, and tried to line up financing for that one, and that got a little trickier. So Woodside, some of the other car loan places, rates were higher. And then with a car loan that expensive, they really looked at my taxes and different stuff a lot closer. And being in real estate, I usually don't show a lot of income on my taxes. I have a lot of depreciation, so many things going on. And so they denied me on my loan. I was like, oh, okay. But then the dealer had some other ideas and ended up finding a lease option where it's not like a typical lease where you are leasing it from a dealer and you have to give it back in 4 years. It's kind of like a long-term 15-year lease where you put a down payment down, have an interest rate and everything. And I was able to get that approved for that. Got the car, was a lot more money down. Maybe it's 20% down on that one. It might have been. Obviously a larger down payment. But my thinking was I might not ever be able to afford a Countach if I keep waiting and waiting and waiting. And so, completely honest on this, a lot of these cars, if an accountant had looked at my finances, if most people looked at my finances and said, you're buying a $500,000 car, they'd think I was insane and going to go bankrupt soon. But like I said, it's been highly motivating, and I'm very aggressive in my investing. I like to push myself. And honestly, the Countach was kind of a nice purchase, and then it pushed me. I'm like, okay, now I've really got to make sure I'm working hard in my business. I'm not slacking. I'm doing good stuff. So they can be motivating before you buy them and after you buy them too. It goes both ways. Of course, we've had some interesting videos with the cars in different weather conditions, as you can see. So the Countach has been absolutely amazing. It's my favorite car. I've talked about it before. Even though the Diablo is faster, you can see better, has power steering, more power, more room, all of that. The Countach is just like driving history. I love it. So that's been an amazing purchase. It's provided a lot of content. Actually made me some money too. And so that's part of why I created my car channels and different things as well. So I financed that one, like I just said. All my other car loans have been paid off. A lot of times when I do refinances with banks for my real estate properties and different deals, sometimes those car payments are kind of high and they want me to pay off those loans as part of the refinance to qualify. So that happened once or twice. We did that, and it's just been amazing. I'm very fortunate, but it wasn't like I grew up with billions of dollars and millions of dollars and I just was able to go out and buy these cars in cash. It took some creativity, it took some leverage, it took some aggressive strategies, and maybe pushing myself a little farther than some people would like to. There's a lot of people who say, well, if you can't buy it twice for cash, you shouldn't buy it. That's definitely not the theory that I've gone by, but I think it's worked out pretty well in the end. Of course, for others, you might not want to be that aggressive. You might not feel comfortable putting yourself in those positions. And you could put yourself in a bad position being too aggressive as well. So I'm not saying everybody should do this strategy. I'm not saying everybody should buy cars like this. But for me, it has worked out and it's been worth it. You really have to look at your own finances and motivations and what you're doing to see if it's something that you want to go forward with as well. Now, I am not buying brand new Ferraris, brand new Lamborghinis that will drop in value significantly as soon as you buy them either. Pretty much every car I've bought, except for my Velociraptor, my Audi, which were daily drivers, have gone up in value, right? The Supra's gone up, the Esprit's gone up, the Countach was a good deal to start with, and then I think it's gone up some. The Diablo, the Aston Martin, even the Porsche, my Mustang, they've all gone up in value. So that also puts you in a better financial position when you buy older cars. Try to get good deals, shop around, and hopefully you buy stuff that's rare and people like, and they can go up in value as well. So I'm not out there just buying the first car I see, or I'm buying the perfect spec no matter what the price is. I'm waiting, I'm being patient. Sometimes I've got, I had a list of cars like the Supra. I wasn't out there just looking for Supras and only Supras. I saw a good deal on a Supra pop up. I'm like, okay, I think it's time to get one. The same thing with the Esprit. I wasn't out there only looking for an Esprit. It was just kind of on my list of cool cars. A really good deal on an Esprit popped up. So that's been my strategy as well for buying these cars. So if you're thinking of buying expensive cars, financing them, I think you've got to look at what kind of car you're buying. Is it going to drop in value like crazy as soon as you buy it? Maybe that's not the best idea. If you're getting ones that might go up or hold their value, that's probably a better idea. The longer term loans, a lot of people say, I don't want to pay off a loan in 15 years. That's crazy. I'd rather pay off in 5. Well, your payment is going to be way, way, way higher on a 5-year loan compared to a 15-year loan. You have to remember, with inflation, the value of money is always decreasing. So it's actually better to pay in the future than now, because money will be worth less in the future. So pushing out the loan actually makes sense inflation-wise, especially if we have high inflation. And then if you're trying to qualify for real estate loans or something like me, you actually want lower payments, not higher payments. So a 15-year loan lets you qualify for other loans and payments and leverage, and it allows you to buy more properties in my case. So it's better off in that as well. Now, if you can't buy the car without a loan, but you really want the car, you have to, make some life decisions. Is it good for you? Is it a good idea for you? How solid is your income? Is it going to be motivating you to do better, or is it just something you want to do for a cool factor? Like, there's all types of things to think about. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is exactly what you should do. You should do what I do. A lot of this stuff you have to think about yourself and figure out, hey, are you putting yourself in a good position, a bad position? Are you okay? Like, what's the worst case scenario? Are you okay with that if that happens? If you get cars repossessed or go bankrupt, it can take a very long time to recover from that. It can really hurt your credit. So there's a lot of things to think about there. It's not just, don't just think about the upside and how awesome it'll be. Realize, hey, what could go wrong? How bad could it be? And can I survive that? Am I okay with it? So think about the pros and the cons. Like I said, for me, I'm in a unique position because I can use the cars to promote myself, make money. They're dreams of mine, and they're also very motivating too. All of them together. That's all I've got. Let me know what you think. If you have questions, comments, love to hear them. Of course, we'll have more videos of all the cars, and we'll see if we do any new purchases soon. But after buying the Defender 110, I'm probably going to be messing with that for quite a while. All right, we'll be back soon. Take care.